Good day, good students of A Plus Model Schools, Model. My name is Taylor Samson Additional. Welcome to this week class on basic science. But before we take this week topic, let's talk about what we did last week. Last week we did calculation of gravitational force. Calculation of gravitational force, where we talk about the formula, two formulas for finding force and work done. We talked about the first formula, that force is equal to mass times acceleration due to gravity, which is F is equal to mg, and we take some examples, like 5 examples on that. We also talk about work done. Work done is equal to force times distance, where force is equal to mass times acceleration due to gravity, which later give us as work done is equal to mgh, that is mass times acceleration due to gravity times height or distance. Now we all know that the constant gravitational due to gravity on the Earth is 10 meters per second square or 9.8 meters per second square. With this series of examples on that, I think if you need a full revision, you should visit the video that we did last week. Now today we're going to talk about friction. We're going to another subtopic under forces, and that subtopic is friction. Friction. What is friction? The meaning of friction. Friction is the force that tries to stop a body from moving. The force that tries to stop a body from moving is called friction. For example, if you are moving, or if a car is moving, when you applied a brake to the car and the car stopped, what happened between the car, the brake, and the tar road is called friction. So friction is the force that tries to stop a body from moving. And then there is no friction. That means when you start up a body, or when you set a body into motion, you will not be able to stop that body from moving. So what helps us in stopping a body from moving is called friction. Friction also means force that opposes motion. That means the force that go against motion. That's what friction also means. Friction also means force that opposes motion. Friction can be reduced by lubrication, i.e. adding oil and grease placed between the two surfaces in contact. When there is two surfaces in contact, to apply friction, you apply lubrication like oil and grease. The oil and grease are called lubricants. So when you apply oil or grease on a two surface that is coming into contact to apply friction, that means you are applying lubricant. Now let's check the uses and advantages of friction. Uses and advantages of friction. It enables us to walk around without slipping. You should be imagining then when we are running, we really fall down. All those people that are doing sports, this relay race, what allows them to run without falling down or without falling down is what we call friction. So friction helps to run without being slippery. It enables us to sharpen knives and cutting tools. Without friction, we will not be able to sharpen our knives and cutting tools, like our cutlass, like our the knife that we use in our kitchen, our saw. All these are the application of or uses of friction. It is a useful force when we tie shoelace. Yes, it helps us. That's what it helps us for the shoelace to grip our foot very well. So it's a useful force when we tie our shoelace. It's a useful force when we strike a match or sit on a chair. Yeah, when you strike a match, like you want to light a matches, or what do you call match? Yes, when you strike it, is the work of friction that makes it ignite. Is the work of friction. And it's also when you sit on a chair, for you to sit down on a chair comfortably is the work of friction. It also helps in screwing nails. Screw, nails, bolts, and nuts rely on friction to prevent them from working or loose. When you screw your bolt and nut, or when you hammer your nail, what allows it to work fine or to go to screw or to tighten what you are using it for is what we call friction. So friction helps in screw, nails, bolts, and nuts. All of these rely on friction for them not to lose or to lose easily. Friction is a useful force in a belt drive and clutches or machinery, as it allows energy to be transferred. You can see when you go to a grinding machine, when you notice the formation of a grinding machine, from the belt to the clutches, all these are the friction are what that allows energy to be transferred from the belt to the clutches. Friction allows energy to be transferred from a belt to the clutches of a machine, like a grinding machine. I set an example. Another one is a moving car. If you check the engine of a car, you see that there is a force, there is a belt inside that car that transfers the force to the clutches. So it is the work of friction. Friction makes cars to move on the road. Yeah. Without friction, that means we have to check all our whole life. So friction helps the moving car to move on the road. Let me give an example for this. The tires of a car have rough surfaces. If you notice, the tire of your car is not smooth. It has a rough surface. So that when the engine of the car makes the wheel go round, they grip on the surface of the road. When the rough surface of the tire of a car moves on the tar road, that rough surface helps to grip the tar road. If tires and roads were smooth, if the tires and the road were smooth, there will be no friction between them. The car will not move. The car will not move at all. So the tar road is rough. The surface of your tire too is also rough, and that's what allows it to move. And if both are smooth, there will be no friction, and that means the car will not move. So let's move to the disadvantages of friction. Disadvantages of friction. It causes wear and tear on the moving part of a machine. Yes, notice when you are using a machine for a long period of time, notice that the bolts and the nuts, they wear off, or even the machine wear off on itself. It's the work of friction. So it causes wear and tear on the moving part of a machine. It causes unpleasant sound. Yes. If you ever visit a place where you grind your dry yam to form yam flour, you notice that it has a very big noise. Or when you switch on your grinding machine, you notice that it gives a very loud noise. So it causes an unpleasant noise. It increases the cost of maintenance. When these moving parts wear off, definitely you have to maintain the machine, so it increases the cost of maintenance. It causes heat in any engine, which can lead to breakdown of the engine. Yes, it causes heat because when two surfaces come in contact and they are moving on each other, you notice that it produces a kind of heat which can lead to breakdown of the engine. It increases the energy required to operate a machine. Yes, the energy that you require to operate a machine increases due to friction. It reduces the efficiency of the machine. Yes, the way the machine works, the end result of that machine, it reduces it due to friction. Now let's check how to reduce friction. How do we reduce friction? I think I've earlier said it. One of the ways to use lubricant, grease and oil. Friction is reduced by application of grease and oils called lubricant. When you use lubricant, it reduces friction. Lubricant is placed between two surfaces in contact. The two surfaces, like if you check a machine, the two surfaces that are coming in contact constantly, you grease. When you grease it, it reduces the friction. Now, before we end today's class, let's quickly check these two terms: balanced and unbalanced force. Balanced and unbalanced force. Here, you see a diagram. You notice that there is a pivot at the middle of that long seat, and the pivot is at the center. And you can notice that this object, both the one at the right side and at the left side, they are in what? They are in equilibrium. They are in equilibrium. That means they are equal. They are on a straight line. So if a body is at rest, it means that all the forces acting upon it are equal and opposite. You can see that this body is at rest, and the forces that is acting on this body is what? Equal and what? And opposite. You can notice that means the weight at the left side is the same thing as the weight at the left side, which makes the body to be in what? In an equilibrium position. And this is also called balance force. You can see that the force here is balance. is balanced. The force at the right hand side and the force at the left hand side, they are what? They are of the same thing, and that's why you can notice that this thing is on a straight line. You can say that it is what? It is a balanced force. But on the other hand, let us check unbalanced force. On the other hand, if the forces acting on it are not equal, that means maybe if the left is higher than the right or the right is higher than the left, they are not equal, the forces are unbalanced. You can see from the diagram, you can see one is at the top and the other one is below. That means the force the person at the left hand side is applying is higher than the force that the person at the right hand side, and that's why you can see the person at the right hand side is going higher and the person at the left hand side is what? Is coming down. The body will move in the direction of this unbalanced force, so you can call this body an unbalanced force. I believe you can differentiate between balanced and unbalanced force with my explanation. Now at the end of this lesson, I believe you should be able to define the following. Define friction. I think you should be able to define friction. You should be able to state advantage and disadvantages of friction. We have so many of them up there, advantage and disadvantages of friction. Now, next class, I need you to read up as an assignment. What we'll be taking next class. I need you to write. You can write down in a very legible handwriting, and you snap it or you take a photograph of it and send it to my WhatsApp page. Write a brief note on weightlessness. Write a brief note on weightlessness. I need you to write like 10 lines on weightlessness. Just very brief, like 10 lines, not more than 10 lines. Snap it and send it to my WhatsApp page. Till I see you in the next class, my name is Taylor Samson Additional. Stay blessed.